Greetings, people of Earth. Welcome back. My name is Jax, and today I am doing another Q&A. These questions come from YouTube, Instagram, a few on TikTok, and some others that people sent me in my DMs and things. So, just a few very basic ones. My name is Jax. I live in Canada. I am 27 years old. My educational background is I went to school in Canada. Both of my parents are British, so that's why some of the words I say are interesting, to say the least. I went to university at the University of Alberta, and I did anthropology. I specialized in linguistics, and I also did a minor in history. So those were just a few things that people... Oh, I'm 6'1" tall, or 182 centimeters, I think, depending on which measurement system you use. I am bisexual. I have a younger brother. I enjoy baking, archery, running, reading, writing, going to the gym, swimming, skiing, hiking, camping. Yeah, so those were some of the universal questions that I get asked quite often. If you have more, leave them down below, because the next Q&A will be done with questions from this video and also on Instagram. So now getting into it, the next one, someone had asked, because in the last video I talked about how I work on the family farm and I am also a property manager. Someone asked, aren't those the same thing? No, they are not. So the family farm is the family farm. It is farming. It is what I do. I have done my whole life, essentially. Property management is completely different. It involves working with a property management company and making sure that all of the little minutia of day-to-day running works. I schedule meetings. I do online banking. I organize repairs at the properties. They're residential and commercial. So yeah, there's like a whole bunch of kind of minutia to that, and it's a bit intricate and that sort of thing. So that answers that one. Someone said, what's one of the most important things you've learned about yourself through a past relationship? I have essentially had 2 or 3, depending on how you quantify relationships, but I have had 2 or 3 long-term romantic relationships. I think the first one taught me a lot of independence, because I lived with my partner and we basically took on the whole world together. We learned how to pay taxes and do all of that stuff. We had our own household. Like I learned a lot of independence and sort of what I personally like. I developed a lot of myself during that relationship, and it's like that early independence where you sort of become who you want to be. So I think that's what I learned most through that relationship. The second relationship, I learned what I'm not interested in and what I don't want in a relationship. Funnily enough, that was a very positive relationship. I had a really enjoyable time. We just didn't work out in like a long-term sense. We didn't have the same long-term goals, but it really helped me understand what I'm looking for in relationships, and what exactly my focus should be when I encounter new people that I'm potentially gonna try and date and things like that. So that was quite interesting. I had a really good time with that. It ended pretty amicably compared to most relationships. And yeah, I don't regret that relationship in any way, shape, or form. I think it was a really positive experience. I hope it was a positive experience for the other person. Who knows? My third relationship, I think I really learned that moving too fast is a perfect recipe for a bad relationship and to end things badly. When you feel like there's some kind of sense of urgency or pressure to get into a relationship with somebody, that is a really good sign that it's not the right relationship for both of you. And I think I learned that, rushing things like that is never a good recipe. And that wrong place, or wrong person, wrong time, right person can definitely be a thing. It can definitely be a thing, and it can be hard to realize that. Sorry, that was difficult to figure out and that sort of thing. The next one is, one question I have for you is, do you eat meat? Do you think about vegetarianism or veganism? Because you talk a lot about being a Taoist. So yeah, I'm a Taoist. I'm not a vegetarian though. I was a vegetarian for 2 years between the time I was 20 and 21, 22, something like that. I didn't eat meat. I wasn't interested in it. Um, I didn't really do it for a um, ethical point of view, because the meat I have been eating since I was a little kid has always come from a farm, and I've always um, been sort of directly engaged with my food. Like I'm not separated from it. We don't typically buy a whole lot of meat from our grocery store. A lot of it is from our family ranch, and um, yeah, so I've never really felt like an ethical problem with eating meat, because I've been up close and personal with the making of the meat, and I know that the animals have a very good life from our farm and from the farms that I live next to. So I've never really had an issue with eating meat that way. I couldn't go vegan because I am a real lover of dairy, cheese, fish, all of those things. And I don't personally think it's the healthiest thing to be a vegan, unless you're really diligent with what you're getting. But I think a lot of vegans nowadays are just eating a lot of refined oils and sugars and things. And so the idea that, oh, it's healthier, I think that's a total myth, unless you have all the money in the world and you can afford that kind of lifestyle, then all power to you. But and also, I don't want to like get all like um on my soapbox or anything, but if you're a vegan and you think that you are saving lives or saving animal lives by being a vegan, you're actually wrong, because you're supporting monocrop agriculture. If you're eating wheat and rice and all of those things are farmed in industrial ways, and they use pesticides, herbicides. A lot of small animals end up in the combines and all kinds of things. It's not pretty. You can look into it, but the idea that, oh, I'm going to be a vegan and that's going to save the planet is completely fictitious, and it's not real. You're welcome to debate me. I'm a farmer. I like live right on the fields, like next door. My food comes right out of our garden. We grow our own food. So yeah, but I'm not a vegan. I have nothing against vegans, but I just think you really need to understand your moral code. And if you're going to go toe to toe with a farmer when it comes to food and food production and eating healthy and eating from the land, you're not going to win an argument with a farmer. You're just not. So I love meat. I love what I eat, and I try and do it sustainably. So that's that question. Sorry, sorry, not sorry. Do you have a favorite musician? Yes, Taylor Swift. It's really basic. Taylor Swift is, if you've seen any of my TikToks or anything like that, you know Taylor Swift is way up there on my priority list. And yeah, if I had to say like a second artist or band, it would be Chase Atlantic. And then it would probably be Ruel from Australia. So you can look up those. I think they're fantastic. They're really good vibes. Yeah, that's pretty easy. So yeah, and then over on Instagram, what is my favorite ice cream flavor? I'm super basic. I like vanilla, and if you made me choose something other than vanilla, it would be butterscotch. I know it sounds like a 90-year-old man's choice, but it's what I love, and don't judge me for it. So yeah. What is an embarrassing childhood memory? So one time, I grew up on a pig farm. We don't live on the pig farm anymore, but as a little kid, I grew up on this pig farm. And one single day, I wore my farm boots into school. And this was like grade 1, so I'm like 6, 7, 8 years old. And the school had like they didn't know. The farm boots have a smell, okay? Especially if you live on a pig farm. Farm boots have like a very specific, distinct smell. And if you grow up on a farm, you might become a little nose blind to this smell. But I went into my school, which is in the middle of the city, and wore these boots, and the whole school kicked up such a fuss, and they got so mad, and they were freaking out trying to figure out where this smell was coming from, and they thought like somebody had died or there had been some kind of like attack or something. And then eventually they figured out that it was this first grader's shoes, and they got really mad at me, and my dad had to come to the school, and he got really mad at them and was like, you can't be so mean and discriminatory against a farm kid, blah, 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 blah. So it was this whole drama, but I was so embarrassed, and I was just, yeah. So after that, I never wore my farm shoes or boots into school, because that was a little bit not my best moment. Anyway, what is my favorite holiday? I don't know. I always tend to just go with the holiday I was last on. I was just in France and England with my dad, and that was so much fun. It was so cool. I learned so much. Yeah, but from my childhood, I don't know. I've been to Mexico and Hawaii, and both of those places were absolutely stunning, gorgeous. I just really like being with my family and, hanging out, that kind of thing. So, how do I feel about putting pineapple on pizza? Again, some of you might know this, but I am a huge fan of pineapple on pizza. I think it's the greatest invention that the Canadian culture has ever contributed. You can look it up. Hawaiian pizza is like a Canadian thing initially, and I think it's just amazing. So, sorry, not sorry. That's, for whatever reason on the internet, that is like one of the most controversial opinions you can have. Like, there are all these controversies going on in the world, yet the pineapple and pizza one, for some reason, is just contentious, which I think is so interesting. If you didn't have to worry about money, what would you do all day? Okay, so if money wasn't an issue, I would probably just be some kind of like personal trainer. Like, I think that would be so much fun. I think it'd be such a positive outlook, and just to like educate people and help people on their fitness goals. Everything from like nutrition all the way to vitamins, getting enough vitamin D through the sun, sleep. I get so interested in all of that stuff, and just human health and human body physiology and that kind of stuff. So if money wasn't an issue, that's exactly what I would do all day long, is I would just hang out at the gym and like help people with that kind of thing. So yeah. Okay, we'll do one more, just because I think that would be interesting. Let's see here. What is a challenge you would never want to face? That's a good one. A challenge that I would never want to face. Honestly, I have witnessed a few people in my life go through getting pregnant and like childbirth and everything. And while I think it's absolutely amazing that people can create more people, like I just like the whole concept of you can create like a sentient life. I don't think I would want that challenge on my body. I don't think I'd want like it's not something I have to like physically worry about, because like I physically can't get pregnant, but boy, I feel like that would be a challenge that I'm not prepared to take on, I just don't think I could do it. I see friends and family doing it, and I think it's so amazing. I love being as involved as I possibly can, being the fun uncle, I love that. But yeah, I don't think it's a challenge that I could face. I think all power to you, girl, honestly. So yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you for sending your questions and your comments. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got to learn a little bit more about me. Feel free to tell me a little bit about you in the comments down below. Leave a question for a future video. And as always, I guess I will talk to you guys tomorrow.